We talked about the div tags and how we'd want to assign those to a CSS in here. So you can see this insert div tag. If I brought it in and I was going to place it on my page, it would ask me if I wanted a class or an ID. At this point we don't have anything set up, so I can click on the new CSS, but let me show you the proper way to do this. What I'd want to do before I insert a div tag is go over on my CSS panel, click on my new CSS. If you see in the documentation for the course, you can see the class. I usually would use those for my font. ID, I would use those for my layout. Tag or for your H1, H2, and etc. Or you could use a compound, which would be a collection of them. With the class, just know the most important thing about it, that you probably want to use that for font, and also it is indicated by a period in front of the CSS. The ID is usually used for layout and it is indicated by a pound sign. So let's start off with the pound sign, and we need to make a container for our website. So I'll type in container, and in here you have the option to apply it just to the document or create a new style sheet. I want to create a new style sheet in here, so I click on new style sheet, select OK. It's going to ask me where do I want to put it. I'll type this layout styles, and I want this to be a CSS. So when I click on save, it will actually ask me if I want to put it in my file. I do want to. So as this comes up and pops up, you can see now once I refresh in just a minute, it will actually show on my page. So what I want to do now is click on positioning. And for my positioning, I want to make this absolute. My width, I want to set it to auto. My height, set it to auto. The right, I want it to be 100 from the right side, and also on the left, I want it to be 100. I'll go ahead and click OK. And now you can see once I clicked OK, you have this layout CSS. If I double click on it, it will open it up, and if I wanted to hard code this, there's the pound sign, so I know it's an ID, and these are all the values that I put in just a minute ago. Now the way you do this is you create your CSS first. You can see under right here in my CSS, my layout, have my container. Then you come in and you click on this insert div tag, and when this comes up, you click on the ID, and you have this container ID, or you had the blank. You don't have any classes set up yet. The AP ID was set up earlier, so it's just a remainder, but I want to click on container, click OK, and now this is my container for my website. One thing too, that what I'd want to do, since I set this up earlier, was that AP div. If you come out and you draw one of these AP divs, it automatically puts it as a style on the page. I don't want that, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that off now that I just noticed it. So if you do have those on there, go ahead and take them off your site. So this is my first. This is my container of my website that I'm going to have set up. My height and my width are auto. So if I come in here and I hit delete, I can hit a couple hard returns or shift enter to bring it down. And then next I can go to my next option, which I would want to make a master header. So the same process, if you're thinking how you do this, is step number one, I need to create a CSS, which would use an ID with a pound sign. And then step number two, I would need to go to the insert div tag and then apply that. So if I come over and I click on new CSS, I want this to be an ID. I will call this master head. What CSS do I want to apply this to? I'm on the layout. That's what I want to insert the information into. So I'll click on layout, click OK. Once this comes up, then I will click on positioning. My width, I want to make this auto. And my height, I want to make it 100. So when I click OK, you see nothing's happened yet, because step number two is you need to click on insert a div tag. When I click on insert div tag, I select my ID. It already knows that I have chosen my container, so it doesn't give me the option for that. So the next option is master header. Click OK, and there's my master header. So I can put in my other values that I wanted. So let's do one more for the content, or actually two more for the content in the footer. I'll give myself a little bit more room here. So next, click on new CSS, make this an ID, change this to content. I want to apply it to the layout CSS. Click OK. Click on positioning. I want this for my top to be, or my width to be auto. And my height to also be auto. Click OK. Click inside of here, insert my div tag, content, click OK. Now I need to create my last ID, so I will come over to my new CSS, click on footer, or type in footer, click on my ID. I want to apply it to the layout style, click OK. For my positioning, I want to change this to my width will be auto, my height will be 100. Click OK, and then as you know now, the next step would be insert div tag. Click on my ID, which is footer, click OK, and then now I have my information or my layout that I want to use for my website.